Thank you to AccuFlow for sponsoring a portion of today's video.
You always have something on your to-do list. It's never empty. When do you have time to actually relax and be mindful? I know you have your gratitude journal in the morning, but you gotta have time to decompress and just be still. Not be always doing something.
Why? Hello.
Hello.
So a couple weeks ago, I asked you guys what you want to see on the topic of productivity, and I noticed that quite a few of you said you wanted something related to toxic productivity. And I've never heard of toxic productivity, have you?
No, but I've probably seen it happen.
Exactly. That is exactly the point. When I heard of it, I thought, sounds like something I probably do. So not something I can really advise people on how to not do it, but maybe I can just react to what it is and see which parts of it I have and which parts I don't. So let's get straight into it. We're going to react to some toxic productivity TikToks and talk about it.
The question is, are you still falling in the trap of the toxic productivity? Do you feel that you have to have the perfect morning routine? Do you feel like you have to be better by doing all these things? 6:30 a.m., wake up, gratitude journal, yoga, workout, read a book, then work.
Here's the thing. I don't try to do this. I just naturally do it. I really enjoy it. It's not like, oh, I have something to prove. I have to make myself feel like I have worth. I naturally wake up relatively early, not around 6 a.m. anymore. I used to wake up between 5 and 6:30 when I was in a very high stress job, but I'm not anymore. Now I naturally wake up around 7:30.
What happens if you wake up late and don't have time to do this?
Why would I wake up late?
There are some days where you sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, there was one day I slept almost to 9 and I was perfectly fine. I felt well rested.
So you don't have any adverse effects from not being able to squeeze all this into your start of your day?
No.
Okay.
It's time you realize we're not a productivity machine. A person that feels worthy after crossing every single thing off their list.
Well, again, it's not about worthiness. I don't feel unworthy if I don't get to everything off my list. I kind of see it as an act of self-love, of I'm accomplishing the things I want to accomplish to get me closer to my goal. I don't see that as an act of self-flagellation.
You don't have to have this perfect routine to feel better about yourself. Being better is not an outward experience, it's an inward experience. It's more like, are you making decisions based on love? Are you giving yourself and others love and grace? Do you do the things that truly light your heart on fire at the end of the day?
Yeah, because the things on my to-do list truly light me on fire. I'm truly in flow doing many of them, except for the annoying errands and stuff.
And are you truly being your authentic self? Because at the end of the day, no one is going to care about how many things you achieved, but rather how much love you put out in the world for yourself and others. So be kind to yourself and follow what your heart desires every day rather than what everyone else is saying.
What'd you think?
I don't see this as toxic productivity.
Yeah, I don't either. What she said at the end about, what did she say? Act of self.
People aren't going to remember how many things you crossed off your list. They're going to care about how much love you put in the world.
Yeah, you can do that and also do gratitude journaling and a morning workout and invest into the people you love.
Yeah, just put that on your list.
It is, yeah. Well, if you have my A Season of Life journaling workbook, I have a place there where you mark your values that you want to focus on that day. And usually I have on there savoring life's joys or connection with other people or having a warm, sprightly playfulness. Those are things that I put on there.
Yeah. All right, next one.
Let's talk about the 5 a.m. club. The 5 a.m. club came up in conversation recently. And if you're not familiar with the 5 a.m. club, it's a popular book. And the whole premise is that you're meant to spend the first part of your day doing all the things that are really good for you. Working out, meditating, doing your passion projects, all of those kind of things. And while I advocate that is what we should be spending time doing, the 5 a.m. kind of mindset and what all these influencers advocate is that if you want to be successful, this is what time you have to wake up. You have to wake up at 5 a.m. And all I want to say is it's actually bullshit. And when I did the 5 a.m. club, I did it for about a month. And well, yes, I got some stuff done in the morning and I was productive. I was so tired by the evening. I had no energy to spend quality time with my partner, and I was going to bed at like a really early time. It was just not working. What I mostly don't like about the 5 a.m. mindset is that what it's telling you is you have to get up really, really early to do anything that's good for you or that you're passionate about because your workday doesn't allow for it. And that is unfortunately true for most people. Most people work in a 9-to-5 culture where we talk about kind of this hyper productive BS, you know, where we have to account for all of our hours spent behind a desk or whatever it is. So there's no room for healthy activities. There's no room for passion projects. So for me, it's just another symbol of toxic workplace productivity, when what we should be doing is working how and when we want in order to create a healthy, sustainable life cycle for all of us.
What do you think?
I agree with her. I mean, I don't think you need to wake up super early to be productive and to actually work on things that you like. I mean, it reminds me of Gary Vee and how he is the epitome of toxic productivity.
I don't know much about him. You seem to feel very strongly about him.
How you just need to enjoy the grind, and I don't know.
Does he enjoy it? Because from what I've heard of him, it doesn't sound like he enjoys it. It sounds like he makes it very unpleasant.
Yeah, he makes it unpleasant, but you have to enjoy the unpleasantness, all that. Because people don't want to work, they just want to have the success and all that stuff. But
yeah, I was thinking about what she said about like how the whole premise is you have to do it before your work day, and that's what she disagrees with, that you can kind of like sprinkle it throughout or do it when it works best for your schedule. And I agree with that. And when I think about when I used to wake up at 5 a.m. to do all these random things, it wasn't because I wanted to. It was because, like I said, my body was in just a perpetual state of stress. And when you are in that sort of job environment where you are in a perpetual state of stress, that's kind of your only option. But like these days when I'm, you know, my own boss, I make my own schedule, there's no one telling me what to do, when to do it. It's much more easy to like weave in these moments of, I guess, self-care, you would call it.
even for me, I'm not my own boss. I do work a 9 to 5. If I started the 5 a.m. club, that would be horrible for me. That's not when I'm most productive. I'm not productive in the morning. I'm productive at night. And like I can carve time out of the schedule that fits for me, and it's definitely not going to be during work hours.
Yeah, everyone's different, and it sounds like, oh, you're going to be so much more productive, do so many more things, but like she said, it kind of turns out to be the same amount of time because you still need to sleep, then you just go to bed earlier, and like I did used to go to bed at like 9:30 when I was waking up this early, so like in the end, I don't think it really ends up being that much more advantageous.
This is a genuine question, and I want to know how you guys deal with the overwhelming feeling and pressure that you put on yourself that you're like not being productive enough and that you're not doing enough with your time. I know that it's all self-inflicted and that it's definitely a form of like toxic productivity where I feel like I have to be doing something at every single moment, but I just have this overwhelming feeling.
That's you.
Yes, it is, but also that's me when I have so many things on my to-do list that I feel like I need to like do something about it. Like it was worse during grad school when I had so many different subsets of to-do lists for like all these different things like school, dissertation, practicum, internship applications. Like when you have so many things on your plate, like it's hard to not feel guilty because you have to start somewhere and you're so overwhelmed.
Yeah, but you always have something on your to-do list. It's never empty. When do you have time to actually relax and be mindful? I know you have your gratitude journal in the morning, but you gotta have time to decompress and just be still. Not be always doing something.
Why?
Otherwise, you're gonna be trapped in a state of toxic productivity.
But I prefer to just do it like work really hard and then play for a chunk of extended time where you don't have to think about it. You know, like this week, for instance, when we're, you know, going on a trip later in the week, I know that I'm going to like not even do any work at all during those 4 days. And so that's why I'm like doing some work during the weekend today. Like, it's still, even though it's not a 9 to 5, like, I still have 9 to 5 task lists that I need to accomplish.
8 to 7 more
It's
like
not
it.
8 to 7. What are you talking about? I do my workout in the middle of
Sending
the
emails
day.
before going to bed.
That was one time.
One time yesterday, and then the day before too.
I was tinkering with my website.
And what about the week before when we didn't have a trip coming up?
We did. We had the Vegas trip.
Oh, I forgot that was last week.
Well, okay, maybe we should talk about what my actual routine is, so people can decide for themselves. Let's let the people decide, okay? You know, jot down in the comments. Do I have a toxic productivity routine? So I wake up around 7:30 natural, no alarm. Poor baby. First thing, I get my coffee, do my skincare, do my morning journaling in front of the window. Every other day, I'll call my grandma, and then I start chugging away at work. Lunch, I tend to either work through it or keep it very short. But then I'll usually do a workout and shower, a little bit more work, have my kombucha. And then by the time you're done with your work, then I make dinner and we just relax and we watch maybe an episode of something and then we read till we go to bed. So, is that so crazy? What's so funny?
There's nothing.
No, what's so funny?
You're just trying to justify it. It is toxic productivity.
How's it toxic? It's a perfectly normal routine.
And it goes into the weekend, too.
No, usually it doesn't. I explained this week's different. Okay, let's keep watching.
Of like wanting to do everything all at once, and it gets to the point where it's like debilitating because you want to do everything, so you end up doing nothing. Like, I want to garden, I want to write a book, I want to learn Spanish, I want to work hard, I want to get my real estate license. Like, I want to do literally everything, but I just feel like there's not enough time, and I don't want to pick just
Oh, well, she was just about to say I don't want to pick just one thing, but, like, you don't have to pick, like, one thing forever, but you do have to pick one thing at a time. So, like, right now, for instance, my main priority is writing the next novel. I'm really, like, trudging along at that. Like, every day I'm going to be done with the first manuscript in, like, 2 weeks or so, and so that is, like, the thing on the forefront. When I was studying for the EPPP, that was all I did for, like, a month. So, like, you don't have to do it all at once, but you do have to do it, one at a time, if that makes sense.
one thing, like, because I want to do it all. And then when I do give myself time to rest and like recover, get some R&R, all that stuff, I just guilt trip myself and tell myself like, oh, you should be doing something productive. And that's like,
What do you think about that?
Yeah, that definitely used to be me. I think I'm doing better. Like, during the height of the pandemic, I was really bad. Like, I couldn't even just sit for 5 minutes. I had so much to do and I was so compulsive about everything, but I feel like I've come a long way from that.
Yeah, let me pull up something.
Viva la España. So what did you mean by that?
Oh, it just reminded me always needing to be doing something.
No, the truth is that is me on weekend mornings. And that's also
this morning.
that's my mom, my grandma, that's something in the water.
I can't think.
Oh, she's so sweet.
the toxic productivity comes in. So I'm just genuinely curious, like, how do you guys deal with that? And like, how do you get yourself to not think like that? And like, how do you get yourself to pick just one thing to focus on at a time? Because I know that focusing on one thing at a time is like the secret to success and actually accomplishing stuff, but I want to do everything and it's so hard.
The thing that's most important to you, the thing that if 5 years from now you looked at all the things on your to-do list and you didn't do, you would regret the most. Not necessarily the thing that's most time sensitive, although if it's like super time sensitive, of course, good to get that out of the way, but thing that's most values aligned, I think. Before we go on to the next one, let's hear a word from today's sponsor, AccuFlow.
If you struggle with productivity on either end of the spectrum, today's sponsor, AccuFlow, can help with that. AccuFlow is a time-blocking platform that helps you allocate specific time slots for each task and keep all your tools in one place or calendar. So here's how it works. You can link integrations to the AccuFlow calendar, and you can also add your own event or create a time slot where you can drag multiple tasks. You can easily organize tasks into labels or tags so that you can keep track of the different types of tasks that you have on your plate. Also, AccuFlow allows you to prioritize certain tasks, keeping the most important at the forefront of your day. Using the command bar, you can easily add or manage tasks from anywhere in your computer using a personalized keyboard shortcut. When you're starting out with a new day, you can click the Rituals button to see what you accomplished yesterday and prepare for today's tasks. The notification features remind you of the next task to get started on. Also, something amazing is that AccuFlow provides free one-on-one productivity coaching. AccuFlow is a great tool for developing focus, reducing procrastination, and getting things done. It's a one-stop shop to see all your tasks in one place, prioritize the most important ones, and feel accomplished when you follow through. It balances structure and flexibility. Thank you again to AccuFlow, and make sure to check them out.
Here's my psychotic CEO morning routine. Let's get into it. Every morning at 5 a.m., I wake up and I do a workout. Then at 6 a.m., I do an ice bath for usually anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes, depending on the mood that I'm in.
You really shouldn't do those for longer than 5 minutes. It could be pretty dangerous. But as many of you know, as you certainly know, I love me a good cold plunge. It does really clear your head. I mean, you notice too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's like kind of a trope of like people who are very into productivity like to do ice baths and cold plunges. I don't know, like usually people attribute that to like, this is the routine that made me a millionaire, or this is the routine that made me a CEO. Like, that's not really what made you a CEO. Like, what made you a CEO was working hard. This is just something that you feel like has benefits that is probably relatively unrelated.
Yeah, or your dad already had a business, something like that.
Doing said ice bath, I listened to Gary Vee yelling at me because
That's who I was talking about, whose father already had a business.
Oh, really?
he's very motivational and I need people to yell at me typically in the mornings. Then I do my morning journaling, meditation, and visualization exercises.
But I do that. Yeah, I think visualization is important. It's a big component of goal setting for me because it helps me see success in my mind's eye, and that kind of trains your brain to enact it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're setting goals.
Yeah, I mean, you see me watching my mind movie 6 times a day.
I wasn't going to shout that out.
Typically looks like me listening to a guided meditation, doing that. I do a little bit of journaling, and then I do a visualization exercise. Typically my journaling is a gratitude situation. Sometimes I also do that when I'm in my ice bath. I literally talk out loud to myself.
She's doing all the
say
things I do.
that I am grateful for. But I do journaling and I journal what I'm grateful for. Sometimes I have like business ideas that come to me during that time. It's anything that's in my brain, I dump it out. Then in terms of the visualization exercise that I do, this is something that I learned from a mindset coach a long time ago, which is to close your eyes, visualize how it was or how it is that the multiple 7-figure, 8-figure CEO version of yourself, whatever goal you're trying to hit, would act. How would they show up? How would they create content? How would they serve their clients? How would they lead their team? How would they move through the day? Visualize yourself literally doing that. And I do that usually for about 5 to 7 minutes. Then on top of that, I take a ginger shot and I take a pineapple shot. It is really good for anti-inflammatory, immune system, gut health, all that good stuff. I have other supplements that I take, so I do that. I have a little bit of breakfast. Typically, this is just like a piece of toast or Greek yogurt or something like that. I'm not much of a breakfast person, but I'm trying to get better about having a little something in the morning. And then I mainline about 6 shots of espresso, which is why I am the way that I am. And then I jump right into content creation. So every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I do content creation where I create a TikTok video. Typically it's a trend. My team creates the rest of them. Sometimes I will do Instagram stories. Sometimes I'll go live on Instagram. That is basically my creative content time. And then I jump into my meetings for the day. And that is my psychotic CEO routine. Let me know.
I just don't understand what's the difference between being productive and toxic productivity. Is it just a TikTok phrase that's going around?
I don't know. It's kind of weird because I feel like there's such a shortage of productivity in the world right now. Like, a lot of people are struggling to be productive and are saying, like, how do I, like, stay focused? How do I actually do the things that I want to do? And it's almost like there's this parallel world of people who are hyper productive, and then the two sides are clashing and like trying to pathologize the other, when, like, of course the middle ground is where it's the healthiest to be, like to be overly productive or to be underproductive. Neither of those are really gonna benefit you in the long run. But, like, I also don't understand.
Yeah, because what's being labeled as toxic productivity is waking up early, having, exercise,
Journaling,
taking an ice bath, taking
positive
some supplements,
visualization, like, these are healthy things.
and that on top of just a normal schedule. Like, that's the difference. So
Yeah. And also, like, I don't know what happens. She said, like, then she starts her meetings for the day, but maybe as a CEO, she only works for like a few hours or doesn't work a traditional 9 to 5, or, has some variation in her work hours. So I don't know that this is really even on top of a 9 to 5. It could be on top of something that in the end is less work.
This is my morning routine as the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. I wake up every single morning without an alarm clock at 6:37 a.m. and then immediately drinks lemon juice and cold water. I then exercise for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes, drink 32 ounces of celery juice, then I shower and I walk my dog, then I get into work. If you drink lemon juice first thing in the morning, that's gonna accelerate the process of cleansing that your liver does. Half an hour later,
What do you mean cleansing? I mean, I've heard dietitians, like registered dietitians, talking about how that's not actually true. That's a myth. Lemon cleanses out your liver more than just letting your liver do its job.
what's the toxic part? Just because he exercise? I mean, he starts his day super late, actually, if he's doing all of this, an hour and a half of working out.
An hour and a half, like, that's a bit much.
Maybe that's the toxic part.
Yeah.
you can drink celery juice. It's going to give your body a bunch of nutrients and minerals that
You know what else is going to give your body nutrients and minerals is a balanced diet. Like, you don't need to create like such a prototypical health fad and like attribute your success to that. I don't know.
Celery juice is really good for you, though, especially if you put it
So is
in
eating
cold press.
celery.
Celery takes a long time to chew.
Exactly.
With juice,
You got to work for it.
with juice,
You
you
could
can
do
absorb
your-
so
you-
much more celery nutrients.
You could do your looks maxing at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. I like celery juice. I'm just not having it every morning
I
at
can't
5 a.m.
can't remember the last time you've had it.
because it's such a pain to make.
healthy for it and healing for it. And then you really want to stay off of any kind of fats until noon. No avocados, no nuts, no oils, nothing with oil in it, with fat in it until noon. Because that, again, gives your liver a chance to do more of its detoxing and cleaning.
That sounds like misinformation. Yeah, I'm no dietitian, but that doesn't sound real and accurate.
The comments, Jesus loves you. We do not care at all. I don't know, man. I think having a routine is pretty feminine.
Wait, how many followers does he have?
He's got no interactions on his stuff.
2,000. Okay. I think, again, when I saw that video, I kept getting this impression that he associates or attributes his success to those health fads. And I don't think that they're correlated. Maybe correlated to like discipline, because he imposes these food rules on himself that I doubt have any actual bearing on anything. So maybe that's related to like discipline in other areas of his life, but I don't see it.
Yeah, productivity doesn't stem from the liver.
Here's why I don't subscribe to the 5 a.m. CEO morning routine. 1, I believe as long as you're putting in the same hours as another high performer, it doesn't matter whether you're starting at 5 a.m. or 9 a.m. 2, not everyone is a morning person, and for me, I actually work best in the evenings. 3, this puts pressure on many to believe that success looks a certain way, sometimes in a way that does not fit their lifestyle. 4, while I can appreciate
I mean, you don't have to listen to them if they're 5 a.m. and you know it doesn't work for you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know with that.
Yeah.
I'm taking this too seriously, but
No, but
still.
like, that reminds me of like, remember when people were giving like that girl all this grief because she like does like basically all these things, like wakes up early, journals, skincare, workout, healthy breakfast. I was like, why are people hating on this trend of like women getting up early and doing healthy things? Like why is that something that threatens your self-esteem at all? Like you don't have to do it. Just let people do what works for them as long as they're not hurting anyone, including themselves.
Yeah, just keep sleeping. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. and start hating on them too.
The discipline that it takes to wake up at 5 a.m., discipline is actually defined as being able to regulate our behavior. It is my belief that we can flex this muscle in things such as daily workouts, journaling, cold baths, and meditation.
Yeah, I mean, just do it at a different time.
Yeah, just do it whenever. I do think there's also something a little bit unhealthy about doing it all at one time. And then, although, this is exactly what I said, that I do all the work at one time and then all the fun in one time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted.
Maybe you can start taking a more balanced approach. Take 1 week and just not while we're on a trip.
No, after I finish my first draft.
No, while you still have something that you need to be doing. It would be a good experiment. You have time to take it slow. You don't need to rush. You don't need to do everything all at once. Just take next week after we get back from our trip. Maybe work half as much. See how that experience works for you.
Why though?
To take the same advice that you were just giving. Like, you don't need to do everything all at once. You're seething. Maybe you'll have better ideas when you get back to your writing, knowing that you only have these few hours in the day.
Okay, but here's the thing, like, I'm already so lucky to be able to do my own hours, to be my own boss, to live in this way, to have time and location freedom. Why wouldn't I make the most of it?
Maybe this will help you make the most of it. It's the same approach as a HIIT workout versus Pilates.
Yeah.
Can't they give the same results?
Same results? No, but I think a combination's good.
Exactly. It will be a very interesting experiment.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe we do one day 50% work and the next day 100%.
Or the next day 150%.
What?
No, just your reaction to even the prospect of doing that. You have the flexibility to try out something that maybe will work better for you.
But this is where, like, maybe it's a little bit of a disadvantage of being self-employed, that, like, when you're employed, you either do or don't do 100% of what you need, but you still get paid at the end of the month. For me, it's like my level of effort expended is pretty correlated to, like, how much I can put food on the table.
Yeah, but you also have 4 videos already lined up to edit.
No, I don't. I don't even
3.
have them for tomorrow.
You have them to edit.
To edit, yeah.
So.
But it's like, a day before I'm supposed to have them ready.
I don't see why you can't just give this a shot. Last one. I'm already excited.
This is my most highly requested video. I have full morning routine.
Of a Capricorn.
I immediately put my LED cap on and I'm gonna go make my coffee and get ready for the morning. Now I take my vitamins.
Aren't you supposed to take them with food?
Depends on the vitamins.
Now I'm getting ready to do my new face.
Wait, she didn't work out and drink her lemon water.
But I'm noticing that it's pretty much all beauty themed so far.
Yeah, it's just self-care.
Now I gua shot, and this part is super quick because I do it so often, it's like muscle memory. I'm gonna time it for you. Two minutes, 57 seconds. I got oil on my sweatshirt, so I'm doing a stain treatment.
You do the sweatshirt that's in there?
Yeah, don't dry anything. Done with my coffee, so now I brush my teeth and say my affirmations. Today I will become more of who I am meant to be. I trust my intuition and I allow it to guide me. I am on the right path in life and no one can take this from me. I release all negative.
I think you can do these separately.
All of my needs are met, and I am always that prevent me from reaching my highest potential. All of my needs are met, and I am always provided for. Now I shower and I wash my face in the shower. On a clean, dry face, I do my LED mask. While I do some work, I'm looking for properties. Now we
What's the point of that?
skincare, I start with vitamin C and I let it sit for 15 minutes. And while that sits, I update my TikTok analytics. In about 15 minutes, and now we finish our skincare. I can gently tapping this in. Never forget the lid or the entire orbital bone. Firming serum. For all of the skincare, we press it in, and do not forget the neck or the puff. Daily power defense. Started using this Tatcha moisture stick on my smile lines and my eyes.
This is just like getting ready for the day.
Yeah, that's just like anti-aging. I would hope that's not associated with productivity. But that's what popped up when I looked up toxic productivity. So as a type A Capricorn CEO, this to me does feel a little bit compulsive. It feels like trying to take like every step possible to prevent aging.
Yeah, but that doesn't have to do with productivity. What only really thing that stood out to me about toxic productivity is like saying affirmations while brushing your teeth, because it doesn't take that long. I think you can separate the two and you'll probably get more benefit out of both.
So what's the verdict? Am I toxic productive?
I think you're overproductive. I don't know that it's toxic.
I still don't know what toxic productivity is.
Yeah, it wasn't clear to me. I think it's just trying to do too much in the day, and then if it takes away from how much you're sleeping, I would say the toxic productivity is not very defined in these videos, but...
We must operationalize it.
How so? Operationalize.
Don't worry.
I'd say the only toxic part about like finding a routine that works for you, like waking up at 5 a.m., if it takes away from your sleep, that's toxic. You want to make sure that you're still being well rested.
Or if you feel guilty.
Or if you think you're better than anyone because this is what you're doing and they're not doing it, and everyone must subscribe to the way you live.
Yes.
Like, that's toxic. And if you're saying that's the reason why these people aren't being successful, because they don't enjoy the grind. They don't wake
have
up.
their celery juice.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And at the same time, I think we can agree that just having a healthy morning routine and waking up early and being productive isn't toxic.
Yeah, I mean, this was just maintaining a schedule with waking up early and then doing a whole bunch of random shit during the day.
Like, the only person I can think of, and again, I know so little about him, but I've only seen, like, a couple of things here and there. I feel like Gary Vee would be a good example of, like, work, like, 98% of the hours.
No, he's definitely...
Doesn't he promote, like, sleeping 3 hours per night or something?
Probably. Sleeping in between subway stops on the way to and from different garage sales. It's ridiculous.
Are you not able to just sit upright like this?
No, I don't have that flexibility. I guess it could have been like this, but it's also equally uncomfortable. Flexibility to like cross your legs. I had my workout yesterday at 5 a.m., so I didn't make sure I had enough time to get in that stretch and take my celery juice CBD oil to the face and squeeze it into my eyeballs.
So let us know if you have a different explanation of what exactly toxic productivity is, if it sounds like I am toxically productive, or anything else regarding your thoughts on this topic, pop it down below. Don't forget to check out AccuFlow, and we'll see you soon.